Good evening, y'all. If y'all see me moving around just a little bit, putting lotion on, I'm basically just getting ready. So I know it may seem kind of unprofessional, but hey, I'm a real human being, just like everybody else on here. So it's not too far-fetched me putting on lotion. I'm just basically multitasking a little bit, just a little bit. So y'all bear with me, please. And also, forgive me for the turby as well. I did just wash my hair. Again, it might look unprofessional, but hey, like I said, I'm human just like everybody else, and I don't mind embracing that as long as what I'm doing is not too far-fetched. Anywho, so while I was freshening up, I was just thinking about the video I watched yesterday, and I kind of spoke on it a little bit already in the video I uploaded today that's 8 minutes long. And I wanted to touch on something else that was more important, right? So as I'm watching this video last night from tonight's conversation, they had a guy that stepped up to the panel and asked a question about, no, he didn't ask a question. He said that he wanted to date a woman, a single mother with kids, but he doesn't want to commit to her because she has kids, which makes no sense. Then that means that he will be wasting his own time and wasting hers, because that's not how commitment works. If you are going to commit yourself to somebody, that means that you are basically signing up to deal with whatever comes with them, whether they are single without kids or single with kids. That's just how it goes. So, okay, with that being said, the first thing that I thought about was, okay, well, if he doesn't want to commit to a woman that's a single mother with kids, why not just go simply find a woman without kids? I'm just saying, wouldn't that make sense? So, Kitty on the panel, as well as, I forget the other guy's name, but basically the people on the panel, including Kitty, was basically, what they were saying, it made sense. And so basically what they were telling him was, okay, well, if you don't want to commit to a single mother with kids, why not just go find a woman without kids? That was the same thing I was thinking. Now, what really sparked my interest even more was when Kitty mentioned to him that, and she spoke from her personal experience. Also, by the way, I'm a single mother. So I actually agree with everything she was saying, because not because, oh, she's Kitty, but because what she was saying, it makes sense. So she said that she was a single mother before she got married. And so she was saying that we as single mothers, now I'll say this, us single mothers that got sense now, that came to our senses and actually learned from our bad decisions that we made in our past. Because I can't speak for everybody, and I'm not trying to sound rude, but I can't speak for everybody. And too many times, people like to bunch everybody in the same category, and it does not work like that. If that was the case, it wouldn't be no such thing as light and day. Those are two different things. So with that being said, when it comes down to single mothers, you cannot put all of us in the same category, because you have some single mothers, unfortunately, they have not learned yet. They haven't reached that level yet where they have a growth mindset. They are still stuck in because I'm trying to choose my words wisely, because I don't want to sound wrong when I say this. But yes, you have some single mothers. They have not learned from their poor decisions yet. And I hope and pray that one day they do, so that they can, improve their lives for themselves and for their kids. And then on the other side, you actually have some of us single mothers that actually did come to our senses, and we learned from our poor decisions in our past. And we can honestly call our past the past. Why? Because we changed. Some of us are, some of us have become abstinent and have been abstinent for year 1, year 2, 3, 4, 5, however many years, it doesn't matter. It's all about the fact that, okay, we learned from our poor decisions. We decided to choose better for ourselves, and we also decided to choose better for our child or our children. So with that being said, I like when Kitty mentioned to him that, you know, him not wanting to commit to a single mother is not the problem. Because at the end of the day, your preference is your preference. It's about the fact of the matter of, why are you trying to entertain a single mother in the first place? Why not just, wouldn't it not make more sense to just go find a woman without kids? But that's the thing. He got to be honest with himself and ask himself, does he even want commitment? Or do he just want to play? Play around with time. And you know what I mean? Do he just want to play? And I also like how she mentioned that, you know, I'm going to put it this way. She didn't say these words verbatim, but I'm going to say it this way. I like how she also mentioned that us single mothers that basically have come to our senses and we actually turned our lives around, we're not concerned with how he feels and how also some men feel about single mothers and not wanting to commit to us single mothers. It becomes an issue when guys like that feel like that every other guy has to feel like that about single mothers. Because truth be told, it's actually some men that still want to be with single mothers. Not just for a good time, but actually would like to be in a committed relationship, want to be married to a single mother. Yes, indeed. Especially if he can see that she's grown. She's learned and she's grown from her past mistakes. Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's so true, because just because, he feels a certain way, or he feels like that his preference is not to be with a single mother, that does not mean that the next man has to feel that way either. It just does not work like that. That's not reality. I'm sorry. It's not. It's not reality. And my thing is, for some men that call men simps for choosing to marry a single mother, my thing is, some of these same men that are saying that were raised by a stepdad, or did they forget? So then my thing is, are you calling that man that chose to fill in the role that your father was supposed to fill in, but your father didn't? He left. Let's talk about that. Come on, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. And let me make this disclaimer. It's not about being triggered. It's not about being triggered. It's about telling the truth. It's about talking with sense. See, society's so backwards. When you speaking the truth and when what you are saying actually makes sense, you'll have some people, they will call you talking with sense, they'll call it, you're triggered. Not at all, honey. Not at all. And I can honestly speak for myself when I say my life is peaceful. It's not easy. It's not perfect. Of course not. Nobody's life is perfect and easy. But I can honestly say this. My life is peaceful. Very peaceful. So I didn't feel triggered at all. I didn't feel triggered at all by the guy saying that he didn't want to commit to a single mother with kids, but he still wanted to date her. That makes no sense. That just goes to show where you at as a man. Now, about some of the guys that call a man a simp for marrying a single mother, don't forget, some of y'all were raised by a stepfather who chose to step into your life and chose to guide you as if you were his child, because your father just left. He just left without an explanation. Just left. So my question is, do some of y'all men who were raised by stepfathers, and I'm not just going to say any stepfather. We're not going to talk about some of the stepfathers that, may not have been great of a father and great of a husband. We're going to talk about the stepfathers that were not only a great father, a great stepfather, but also a great husband to their mothers. We're going to talk about them. Are they simps? We have to make it make sense. That's where I'm going with this. We have to make it make sense. A lot of times, some people, they don't hear themselves when they talk. They just talk to talk because they want to be heard, but they're saying a whole lot of nothing instead of actually speaking what makes sense. So I say this to say, if us single mothers are not changing our ways, not learning from our mistakes, and we're still making bad decisions, will be talked about. But if we single mothers actually learn from our mistakes, turn our lives around, clean our lives up and everything, clean our mindset up, and we start actually making better choices, we still get talked about in a negative way. So then that reveals to me that some of these men, they don't want to see us grow. They don't want to see us win. Is it because, y'all don't have too many options? Or because y'all options don't want y'all? Come on, you got to be honest with yourself. You got to be honest with yourself. Because last time I checked, nobody perfect. Nobody is perfect. We all have made some bad decisions. Also, some of these men out here that say negative things about single mothers that actually came to their senses and they turned their lives around and they learned from their mistakes and they're doing better now. What have you done as far as your journey? What have you done? Have you grown much in your mind? What are you doing in the dark that nobody knows? Because guys like that, to me, that gives off to me that they are doing certain things in their private lives that's not helping them grow. I'm just saying, I can't think of no other logical reason as to why certain men still talk down on single mothers that actually turn their lives around. It just don't make no sense. It don't make no sense to me. It don't make no sense. So what, a single mother is supposed to just continue to make bad decisions? Because she did it the first time already. So because she had a child out of wedlock already, she should just keep doing it. Because she shared her body with a man or with some men that weren't her husband, she should keep doing it. Because she used to have toxic ways, some very, very toxic ways, she should continue to be that way. I'm just saying, like, that, it just don't make no sense. It don't make no sense at all. At all. I say this to say that the only logical reason I can think of as to why some men still talk negative about single mothers that actually have changed and turned their lives around and they're doing better now, only logical reason I could think of is because, like I said, they are making some bad decisions in private. And they want to have easy access, if you know what I mean. They want to have easy access. They want to play the field. They're not looking for anything serious. They want to keep their options open just to have easy access, if you know what I mean. But they don't actually want to date with intentions of getting into a serious committed relationship or a marriage. I think that's exactly what that is. Other than that, I can't think of no other logical reason as to why a man would still talk negative about a single mother that actually learned from her mistakes and that actually changed. It just don't make no sense. That don't make no sense. That's like still trying to, that's just like if a prison inmate, he served his time already. And, you know, people still holding it over his head that, oh, you did this, you did that. Okay. Now, mind you, it's been, say, like 10 years since he's been in prison. Record been clean. He hasn't done anything, you know, to go back to prison. He's been living his life right. Mind you, I said 10 years. And people still holding that over his head. It just don't make no sense. That don't make no sense. This man been out of prison for 10 years. 10 years. He did his time already. He did his bidding already. He learned. And has been having a clean record now for 10 years. And y'all still, it just don't make no sense. But see, people like that though, people like that don't want to see you grow. Don't want to see you win. Why? Because they're not growing. That's why. And they trying to sabotage. They trying to sabotage your growth because they don't want to grow. Let's call it for what it is. They don't want to grow. But they want to try to knock your progress, your success. Hey, I said what needed to be said. Everything I said, it makes sense. I'm talking sense. Not triggered at all. I'm not triggered at all. Because honestly to tell you, I'm not missing out on nothing at all. I'm not missing out on nothing. Life is peaceful. Life is peaceful. Do you hear me? With that being said, to a lot of single mothers out there who actually learned from their mistakes and turned their lives around and cleaned themselves up, congratulations.